calm and sure grittiness.
It starts with an attitude. We need swagger, okay? Regardless of what happens out there. Doesn't matter. Keep your swagger.
Hey, welcome on in to another edition, whatever, of Sit Start Saturday. We're your hosts today, Alan and Jay. Before we get going on the actual Sit Start questions, we thought we'd touch on probably like the biggest fantasy potentially relevant news in the last 24 hours, and not to steal a bunch of thunder from the guys tonight. But yeah, John Klingberg, formerly of Dallas Stars, Anaheim, Minnesota, just signed a 1-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, obviously Bouchard seems like a lock on that top power play. So I don't know, Jay. For me, this has no fantasy relevance unless he somehow gets time on that top unit, which I know in Toronto last season he did for a minute. But even then, like he's coming off of hip resurfacing. I believe that was the same surgery that Patrick Kane had before he came back. So I don't know. And it's been a year. I think these things normally take about a year to recover from. So maybe he's back to game shape, but not game conditioning, maybe like skating speed and stuff. But I don't know, Jay, what's your thoughts on Klingberg here real quick?
Man, so many thoughts when you were describing it, Alan. So the first one I would say is with hip resurfacing. How long did it take Kane to pop back? Because I know Kane had this...
That's on one. Yeah, I forget, because there was a big deal when that video came out that he was like, "Oh, he's skating all right, like he looks good."
And it was a bleed over, right? Because I think Kane had this part where obviously they just didn't have the cap space to field and ice like a really solid team the same way they had for years. And then their team just kind of nosedived. And further to that, it seemed as if the hit was affecting him pre-surgery. And then he was already having like production drop off. And then after he got the surgery, and then it was like an extended period of time. I want to say like months, Alan. Like it didn't seem like, like he popped in and popped back out onto the ice. But then during that time, now there's the ramp up where it seems he's doing, relatively well on the Red Wings and things. If that projection for Kane crosses over for Klingberg, I think it's going to be difficult for us to really guess where he's, going to show up production wise. And further, I would say, man, a 32 turning 33, like he's kind of right along that range for Kane. But the thing is, Kane was also able to play his way back into shape. Right? Like, I don't know if that option's going to be, unless they power play specialist him.
I know, and I feel like this will be like a Tyson Berry move, like, right? Like he'll either, if he can get that top power play unit, he'll get you points, or nothing at all, just cardio.
The other one where I was going to say too is that related to the cap space. Right now, they said, I'm on Puckpedia for the Oilers, and they were saying their current cap space is $3 million, but they have a projected cap space of in the negatives. Basically, they'll go over.
Nice.
I think mainly because of their LTIR pool, right? So if they are now spending the space to sign John Klingberg, looking at their injury list, there's Alec Regula and Evander Kane. Alec Regula probably isn't the fantasy relevant player here, but Evander Kane owners who have slotted him into your IR pluses, this probably does not bode well for any fantasy relevance for Evander Kane if they're taking the space to sign Klingberg.
No, it sounds like I think, like I told you before the show, I think there's talk of them having to move someone out, and it sounded like Arvidsson was the guy. But I mean, maybe they moved Jeff Skinner out. He's been scratched, I don't know, like 3 games or something. I forget what his cap hit is. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think he is only fantasy relevant if he sniffs that top power play.
Agreed.
If he does, then God, yeah, let's grab him, because I mean, Bouchard has kind of been not as great as he was last year, but yeah, there we go. Wanted to touch on that real quick, but we have a couple questions in the chat already. This got a couple of names here: Frost and Lion, fantasy value, Frost surge of points. So Lion, I think is he still injured? I forget.
I'm literally digging it up as we speak.
But man, Detroit, just one of those teams that's on fire, and now they're suddenly in the playoff picture.
Lion is still day to day.
Okay. Yeah, unavailable for Thursday's game, so he might be close to
But he-
returning.
with the team.
Yeah.
Which is better than not traveling with the team.
And we know that he is just a good goalie on his own. So if you're running 0G, like he's a good grab. And especially if Detroit can keep this up to any degree. I know there was some doubt with their schedule getting a little harder coming up here, but they beat Florida a couple nights ago. They play Tampa tonight, which we'll see what's going on there. They might have a back-to-back or something, but no, if you're running 0G, I think Lion's a nice ad on a Detroit team that's on a hot streak and now in the playoff picture. So they'll be playing more relevant games down the stretch, which is what you want for your fantasy playoff. But Frost, this is where it'd be nice to have TJ. I don't quite know enough about Philly, but I know that, yeah, he's hot. Let's see what he's.
Well, the thing with Frost too is like looking at Philly's schedule, it just doesn't look that juicy coming up, right? They play today, and by the way, today there's like 30 teams playing. So aside, unless you're a Buffalo Sabres fan or a Carolina Hurricanes fan, you're gonna get to watch your team play tonight, right? So, I mean, aside from that, like they don't play on Sunday this week. They play all the heavy nights next week and an off night on Friday against the Isles, which is pretty good, but you could probably still hold off your ad until later.
I love that shot count though, like 5-2, 7-2, 1-4. That's awesome. Yeah, 6 points in his last 5. The minutes are ticking up. That's the big one, right? The only thing that worries me is this is a Tortorella team, so at any moment, like, you could get rug pulled and suddenly he's getting like 14, 15 minutes, which 15 minutes, that's still around where you want as a measure of sustainability with a forward. But yeah, this is a guy, hold him while he's hot, but that deployment could change at any moment.
And for sure, I think the thing that also is boding is not necessarily that Frost is the heater. Well, actually, no, I'm lying on this one too, right? He's got 4 goals in the past 5 games. Yeah, like it's a matter of his line in general, right? Like Owen Tippett probably is, waking up a smidge. He's waking up a smidge, and Travis Konechny is just doing Travis Konechny things. Having access to that line when it clicks, obviously, is better than not. But it's just, yeah, when you're thinking about this line in general, this is a Torts team. Further, this is a team that is not, are they in the playoff hunt? I guess.
I think they're a bubble.
The
I know the East is going to be so damn interesting, and I think trade deadline is going to be very interesting because at some point, some teams are going to have to make a decision on we're buying or we're selling, and I think that's why we haven't seen any interesting real hockey trades lately. Is everyone's kind of in the hunt, so why sell?
Right. But the other one is that this line is, I'm like looking elsewhere, and I'm like, okay, so you hear a lot about Matvei Michkov, but aside from that, where is the offense coming from this team? You know what I mean? Like that issue of there is Konechny, Tippett, and then Michkov. It's like for the interesting future part. So I think in some ways Frost is like he's at 6% ownership. You know what I mean? Like Aaron. His 6% ownership does not indicate the blue chip quality. It indicates that he is a pink sheet with potential for sure. But the other portion of it is that this team is simply put not really an offensive juggernaut that is going to crunch a bunch of things for you in fantasy, right? Like this team is very heavily carried by Travis Konechny, and if you're looking for that access, sure. But the other one is they just don't have a great schedule upcoming either. So if there's any week for you to crunch into him, like who are you going to be dropping or benching to start him on those heavy night games? Like, sure, he could have a really hot start and you really want to get him. On the flip side, what if you have a guy like a Tomas Hertl, right? Like a guy who's, solidly not the very best center, but also like a very consistent performer. Maybe on the night you truly end up with a better performance from Morgan Frost, but are you really going to slot in Morgan Frost in lieu of Tomas Hertl like night in, night out, hoping he remains hot? I probably would not, to be honest. So there's a real limited utility to a center-only dude that's playing on a Torts team with a bad schedule coming up for this week and next.
So next up here, we got Peter. Start 2 out of Zibanejad, Laine, Verhaeghe, or Kyrou. I think Kyrou's a lock. I think, TJ and I talked about it Wednesday. St. Louis is one of just the highest scoring teams right now as of I think it's the last month. And I like their matchup against Utah. The rest of these, though, I don't like Laine against Toronto.
I was going to say, don't we like Laine against Toronto? I feel like Laine always does well against Toronto.
Yeah, I feel like Ottawa and Montreal always show up against Toronto, but I don't know. You're basically relying on that power play to click. Verhaeghe,
the other one is
his shooting percentage is just abysmal. I know it's the Ducks, but I just don't trust him. When you have guys like Zibanejad, the Rangers are kind of starting to wake up. And they've been a little hot lately. For me, it might be Zibanejad and Kyrou as far as a floor.
I'm firmly on Kyrou, and I don't really. I think
Zibanejad or Laine, but
Verhaeghe can pop off. Well, actually, when I say those names out loud, I think Verhaeghe is clearly the one with the lowest ceiling of all the players there listed.
You think so? Even against the Ducks?
I think so, because I'm trying to think of the game states, right? Verhaeghe has to basically score the first goal. I think he's got to score the first goal or the first 2 goals. And then the way the game state goes, is Verhaeghe the kind of player that runs and guns a ton of ice time in a blowout, or runs and guns a ton of ice time in a tight nail biter?
I mean, he is. I think his line mates are Lundell and Samoskevich right now, so he's not getting even strength sweet deployment, but it looks like he is back on that top power play unit
for sure. For sure. Yeah.
I almost feel like Laine and Verhaeghe are a lateral move.
Laine has such a low floor because he honestly shoots and scores, or he or he doesn't get a power play, or the Canadians don't get a power play, and then he's.
I don't know. I feel like that game has room for a lot of penalties. I just don't know who gets them. But no, so we both agree on Kyrou.
For sure.
I
think if you're going for the floor,
who do the Rangers play?
Probably Zib is the floor. They play the Columbus.
Columbus, yeah. I think that's part of why I was leaning Zibanejad when I saw that question. But again, Columbus also one of the highest scoring teams in the last month.
It would be Columbus is on a 6-game win streak. Am I saying that right? Holy moly!
Oh yeah, there's some surprise hot teams right now. Montreal, Rangers,
Detroit,
not Rangers. Columbus, Detroit, St. Louis, within the last month. But
Dallas is winning a ton. Yeah, this is.
I kind of feel like Zibanejad has the potential for a better floor, but Laine might have the highest ceiling of the other 3.
Well, Laine is literally a power play goal merchant, right? So, I mean, again, Alan, you said it right. If that game has a ton of penalties in it, then that game is just going to be free Laine goals.
So there you go. I'd say, Peter, it's whatever you want to do. Kyrou is probably a lock. Zibby for the floor, Laine for the ceiling. However you want to run your matchup there. Let's jump into the Discord there. Shiver Me Timbers posting his lineup for today. So he's benching Kreider, Lehkonen, and Zibby. He's got Point, Barzal, Marchand, Dry, Zook, and Dorofeyev.
Dude, Dorofeyev is on fire.
Yeah.
My goodness. That man is doing. Oh.
I don't know about you, Jay. The only change I might make is getting Zibby in somehow. and I was trying to think of how many ways you could do this. You could either bench Yeah, there's a path to bench either Barzal or Marchand, but I hate to bench anyone against the Sharks.
Yeah, I'm not loving the Barzal option, but at the same time,
If anyone's going to score on that team, it's him.
Yeah, is that game a race to the? Holy moly! I didn't realize the Sharks were at a negative 44.
Oh, goal differential.
That's horrific. Oh my
That doesn't
goodness.
surprise me. I mean, they're not a lock for the playoffs. Like, so
no.
What's goal differential if you're not trying to make it to the dance?
For sure. It's a little strange to see Barzal when Zibby is around, but I mean, I guess that's his. Oh, I guess he can throw Dry in, right? If he can put Dry into the center slot, and then he's got a winger.
Yeah, there's a path. There's a path. Like you can, if you want to
I don't
pull
think I'm starting
Marchand's-
Kreider. I don't think I'm starting Kreider.
No, God, no. I think if anything, like, yeah, I just don't like Lehkonen against Dallas. Even though I think Lehkonen's on that top line now with McKinnon. But who knows what's going on that team right now? Drew, and it looks like might be concussed again or something. Yeah, I would try to get Zibby in. Benching either Barzal or Marchand.
I don't know if I'm sold on Well, actually, no. Barzal's he plays 20 minutes a night. He's played 20 minutes plus a night for the past 7 games. 8 games, actually. Yeah, you know what? I think he's just good. Yeah, we'll just leave it.
Oh, you're saying leave the lineup?
Well, the only other change would be throwing in Zibanejad instead of Barzal. But looking at it, Barzal is playing a great matchup tonight.
Yeah,
and Barzal just plays a ton of minutes in those.
So that's why I was leaning Marchand, which there's a way you can do the truffle shuffle and get Zibby in over Marchand. I forget the exact sequence because I just Ottawa, man. Now that they've gotten some decent goaltending out of Hobes, I think that matchup is more even than we think. Boston and Ottawa.
Yeah, I think if he'd have to do it, he'd have to have Barzal switched with Dorofeyev.
Yep, Dorofeyev to left wing.
Yeah, Dorofeyev goes into the left wing with Marchand, and then Barzal goes into the Dorofeyev right wing slot, and then Zibby goes in. But yeah, I don't know, because Boston against Ottawa seems like it could be a very touchy matchup too, which could have.
Like I said, I feel like that matchup might be a little bit more even than we think.
Yeah,
especially since they seem to have found good goaltending.
For sure, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it even. Oh, good goaltending. Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking more like if it was like a 5-3, classic.
It could.
Shootout. Yeah. But true. I could also see it being like a 2-1-3-2, and
But I don't think it's a huge gap to play Marchand over Zibanejad either.
No, I don't think so.
It's going to come down to luck.
But how do we want to say our responses to Shiver Me Timbers? I don't even know if there's a response we can put on that little thing. I think it was just the thumbs up.
No, there wasn't a poll.
He's good.
Yeah, that's it. It was just thumbs up it. I'm sure he's watching.
For sure.
Cake Eaters, who would you start today? 12 team points. So I did look at this one before the show. I'm going Velarde. I know that PLD is on the top line right now with Ovi, but he's still getting power play too. And just I think Velarde as of late has been better, and he's power play 1. I like that matchup, Winnipeg against Calgary. And they're both pretty good matchups. Winnipeg, Calgary, Capitals, Penguins.
I honestly don't feel strongly either way. I do think PLD might have a higher floor and the lower ceiling. So I would say it depends which way you're going in terms of that one. Probably sticking with Velarde.
Oh yeah, it looks like the mob is saying Velarde. Nestle's Whole House.
Did he have a
Swole House? Nestle's Swole House. He's posting his lineup. So he's benching Rust, McCann, Norris. Okay, so he's got Kyrou, and I like that. Rob Tom, Fantilli, Dry, Gensel. Meyer, Keller, Carls. Yeah, I honestly, Rust, I would bench him. Just Washington's been getting insane goaltending. McCann against LA, I like that because LA is just again one of the defensive juggernauts of the league right now. Norris, I mean, if Swayman's in net, yeah, I just don't think I don't see that Boston Ottawa game being high scoring. I don't know about you, Jay.
That Fantilli option is kind of the only one that could be switched, right? Like the Fantilli for Norris. But yeah, looking at Norris's recent, actually Norris has done a decent amount recently. But yeah, I think Fantilli's been pretty hot as well. Holy moly! Oh no, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, Fantilli, or it's Adam Fantilov, as he has been dubbed, playing with Marchenko and Voronkov like that. It seems like they're not skipping a beat at all in Columbus by having Fantilli on that top line.
Oh, I don't want to speak ill of the Montanahassans, but my goodness, if anything, like the 8-2 run, is this because of the new line? My goodness.
I think they just for something has just clicked over in Columbus, and they're a much better team than we thought they'd be. I wonder if Dean Evanson, almost at least like not a lock for Jack Adams, but definitely a strong contender. Aaron,
is this just the Kent Johnson sweepstakes or not?
All right. I assume he means
Lafreniere,
the
Alexis
Rangers. Lafreniere. Yeah, I'm not sure which he means.
Geez, are they both?
Because the Kings, Laferriere, as Ranger.
Got to be the Rangers.
Okay, or Celebrini. I feel like Celebrini is almost like a stud. Like I hate to use the term must start, but if anyone on that Sharks team is going to score, especially against the Islanders tonight, and they're playing. I think Hogberg is playing or starting.
I would probably lean Celebrini.
Yeah, I feel like Celebrini is, although I think he's probably going to be like a 60-point guy this season. Like he's just amazing player. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
No.
So
does this mean Lafreniere is going to score a hat trick tonight, Alan?
Right. Who knows? Like that. I don't know. New York. It seems like they're waking up, but they're also still letting quite a bit in. So they're having to win games like 5-4. Sure. MC Lee, 16 team. Good God. I agree with Voronkov. Ben.
Yeah, for sure.
Cooley and Strome. Shit. Because Utah plays St. Louis. Washington plays the Pens.
L2PP1.
Yeah.
Who the hell is centering that line then? It's Protas?
What do you mean?
Is Protas centering the first line?
No, it's PLD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they mixed that up like a couple games ago. Which I hate. I think it's to get things to kind of get OV going again.
I mean, they're giving him dual. I guess power play 1 or 2 still gets OV access. Anywho, so yeah, it's
not used to get McMichael going again. Awesome. Yeah, I think it was trying to generate scoring other than OV. But yeah, that line was OV, Dubois, Protas now. Yeah, MC play 2. All right. So who does Dallas play tonight?
Just gonna pop in.
Where are they? The Abs. Yeah, I'm not sure I like Ben against the Abs. Yeah, to me it's between Strome and Cooley. But I don't like Utah's matchup against St. Louis, who is hot right now. Yeah, it might be Strome for me.
Yeah,
but it's hard because I feel like that's coming from bias and not logically he is the best player on paper. Paratarin, did he do? I can't. Sorry, let me open this in the browser because I can't see. All right,
I'm
so he's
opening up
got
on the phone, yeah, just to see.
yeah, he's
My goodness.
benching Harley,
He's
Brady,
benched
Chuck,
Meyer. Is Meyer doing
Timo.
what?
Well, hold on now because Nason is back, so I feel like that relegates Meyer back down to like power play 2 and stuff.
He is line 2 power play 2. But I mean, that's the cool part about Timo, right? Like he was always like the juggernaut of peripheral floor. Like I don't know.
I like.
Now,
the
did
Kane.
they release the skating lineups to indicate that he was already back on 2?
You know what? They may not because that game starts at 12:30. It's the first game today.
Oh, right. I'm like literally Well, it's cool because when you go on game day lines and you see it, it's always that lady that's got the little like everyone else types out their little names and everything, and then for some reason the way it releases on game day lines, it's some lady, Amanda, I think that's her name, that does the Devils, and she always has like a neatly written
like a
lineup.
notepad. Yeah, I love that.
And it's like it's so different from everybody else's constantly, but I don't see the notepad. So
yeah, I'm not really seeing any changes. I don't know if
nothing. Yeah,
it's hard to know where Toffoli is in the lineup because I feel like they're constantly shuffling some.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we really want to play Brock Faber though?
Honestly, I'm still shook over the idea. Is Brady Tkachuk on the bench?
Yes, Brady Tkachuk's on his bench, but he's got Norris in there, and I'm like, okay, all right.
No, man, you want the correlated. You got to get some
floor
space for Brady Tkachuk. For example, like, okay, let's see, Keener.
But who do we bench? Like, the only thing I was thinking of would be maybe to bench Norris for Tkachuk.
Well, I would put like Meyer in for Kane. That's like an easy one for me.
Dude, Patrick Kane has been just on fire lately, especially with Detroit as a whole coming to life. I would not bench Kane.
There. But Ben for me is out. Ben for Tkachuk is a simple one.
Okay. I would agree with that.
And I would even say like, oh frig, I guess you can't do Barkov. Yeah, I would prefer.
Give me Barkov. Barkov against the Ducks. I would
try to get Tkachuk out. Tkachuk in, Ben out. Man, hopefully James Ben doesn't score a hat trick tonight, man.
I'd swap Harley for Faber.
Yeah, I would do that too. Just because Colorado's a better team, so Harley's got a better chance at getting hits, blocks, peripheral floor. But yeah, the other one, Marchand, I'm okay if he stays on the bench. But yeah, I don't know, Meyer. For me, I would punch Meyer on over either of Boldy or Kane.
What? No, not against Nashville. Maybe over Miller.
Miller's been wild too. Did you guys see the one where he had like, was it 14 minutes or something? It was like, something's going on.
Something isn't. I think it's a between the ears issue with Miller, but I don't know. Yeah, give me.
He's not broken 15 minutes in any of the last 3 games. Like, and they've had like 5-1, 6-1 blowout losses. So
yeah. So maybe, all right, just to review like what we're thinking. All right, so Tkachuk for Ben. I like Harley over Faber.
I like Harley over Faber too.
And then Meyer for Miller.
Yeah, I like that.
And then so Aaron again was sent McMichael for Holloway. He would be sending away Holloway. I say hell no. McMichael's kind of cooled off, I think. I know he was probably the best Connor to start the season. But I feel
how could you slander Kyle Connor like this, Alan?
What? He was. Connor McMichael was like the better Connor to start the season. 1 point in his last 5. I'd keep Holloway with the Blues like being as hot as they are right now.
Yeah. Man, Allen, I guess the cap.
I think
scrap-
Holloway is. I think it's what TJ said on Wednesday. Like Holloway is becoming like the player that people kind of thought he would be.
He's becoming the
under-
player that the Edmonton Oilers need to make a cup
Yeah,
run.
the Edmonton Oilers needed.
Oh
Yeah.
man, incredible. Who was the other guy that was on their team that also got taken?
Oh my God, the defenseman.
Broberg. That's the
yeah.
one. Broberg. Yeah. I don't think Broberg's been
absolutely
that
the right choice
revelation.
there.
Yeah, I don't think that's the Broberg has been the same revelation, but oh my goodness, Holloway has been incredible.
Right. Oh, this is a tough one. So, Line or Slav? I'm starting to wonder if Slav is waking up.
Line A? It's got to be.
I feel like Line has the better ceiling.
Because it's if he scores that night, right? That's the ceiling.
Right. Yeah, Slav's got 3 in his last 5.
Yeah.
And
No,
Line
I
also has 3 in his last 5.
Honestly, if I'm gonna go this route, like if I'm in a position where I am starting either of those guys, I am clearly not a floor player because if I'm rostering either of those guys, I'm not rostering them for the floor. So if it's just the ceiling, it's got to be Line A.
Yeah, I agree. If you just want the highest possible ceiling, it's Line A, but Slav, I don't know if I would say he's back yet.
I mean, you're not starting either of them for their amazing floors. So you're starting.
This is another one I'm going to have to open in a browser. All right, so we're benching Ekholm. I agree. I also have him benched. Probably a guy I'm looking to drop at this point.
Konechny is on the bench.
Oof, I don't know about that.
Terry has got to go. Oh, is there even an avenue for him to do that?
Right.
Oh, maybe. Oh, Kempe. Yeah. Throw Kempe.
You think?
Kempe in for Terry.
This might just boil down to like guessing correctly, like getting lucky.
No, but I'm thinking just throw Kempe in for Terry and then punch Konechny in.
No, Terry's in the center slot.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like Kempe is the only guy that's available as a center right wing flex. So Kempe goes into the center slot. Terry goes to, I guess, the bench, and then you punch in Konechny at the right wing, vacated by Kempe before.
Oh, because Kempe is also center right wing.
Right, yeah.
Dude, I don't feel good about benching Terry. I feel like if anyone is going to score on the Ducks team, it is Terry.
I mean, equally, if there's nobody going to score on the Ducks, that is just an average Saturday, Alan.
I know, but Florida's been
weirdly leaky.
They're playing weirdly night tonight.
Yeah.
I
mean, Florida has been outscoring their problems the entire season. It's kind of incredible to see how well. Who's the guy that doesn't believe? Alan, is it you?
It's me. Bobrovsky is a fraud. But to be fair, they also did lose some defensive depth in the offseason. They lose Montour and OEL.
It was incredible to see last year that playoff run for, I guess, regular hockey fans to see what fantasy hockey fans get to experience with Bobrovsky all within the space of 7 games in the finals. It's like, that is the Bobrovsky experience.
Oof. Okay, so Aaron's got another one here. And then we got to get back to this ADD. Patrick Kane for his Lion. I would mash accept on that. Like, because what Lion's already been hurt like a couple times this season.
And he has Blackwood, Thompson, and Stolars.
Well, so Stolar's in IR. So right now he would just be running Blackwood, Thompson, Lion, and someone is offering him Patrick Kane. I would mash accept on that.
Because what's Lion's ceiling? He's still going to split the starts, right? He's coming fresh off injury.
I feel like Talbot is kind of the 1A there.
But also Talbot is like at risk of injury and all that stuff himself, right? So the Detroit knows this and will try to, mitigate it so that both sides can kind of play more minutes. And,
that's a timeshare in Detroit.
For sure. It's to their best interest for a timeshare and to your non-best interest to, keep them as your
Give me Patrick Kane, especially right now.
For sure.
I forget like some of the stats I've seen for him and the whole team lately. Yeah, it's just like him. Oh my God, Larkin and Raymond, they're just all going bananas right now.
For sure.
Okay, so we're all right. So Jay, you were thinking bench Terry, Kempe
yeah,
the center,
I'm like
and then
sold, like
Konechny to the win.
gospel preaching sold on the idea of benching Terry. I probably shouldn't say that loudly, Alan, in case Terry does end up doing some amazing stuff tonight. But like with what I know, I would definitely not be benching Konechny. So Konechny goes into the slot where Kempe is currently. Kempe goes into the slot where Terry is currently. Terry watches from the sidelines.
I mean, I don't feel great about it, but I feel like Konechny is one of those like studs. Like you
just
find
start
a
him.
way to start
You
him.
just start him, yeah, for sure. Although I will say, if there's anything supporting that idea, technically it looks like Abudito is doing this based on projections, because Terry is projected to be above everybody else. But if you're doing projection trusting, like Ekholm is projected above Fowler. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like a weird application of trusting the projections and not trusting the projections.
No, I would not start Ekholm over Fowler. Like I said, I'm
Agreed.
kind of like Ekholm is on the block. Like I've already dropped him once this season, and then of course he scores right away after I drop him. Yeah, I think I'm friendship ended with Ekholm.
Right. For sure.
That's where I'm at with him.
The other one I would say too is like Devon Taves is kind of a. Devon Taves is like.
No, don't say that.
Heisman.
I feel like last time someone called him out, like he immediately. I think he scored a OT winner.
Oh,
I think. I think it was against the Rangers. I think he was the OT winning goal.
He was the OT winning goal. I'm just gonna look at Devon Taves right there. Yeah, he's got 2 points. Holy smokes, he played 30 minutes against the Rangers? That must have been with OT, right, Alan? Like,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Oh, geez. Oh, it was the Florida game. He scored 2 goals and an assist in a 3-1 win. So he was part of all goals that game.
There we go. But I'm not. I feel like this roster tells me 10 team. But Landeskog, I don't know. As long as that's not hurting you, hang on to him. I mean, maybe he comes back, but don't hurt your season to hold for a guy who hasn't played in like 2 years. And
telling you, man,
he's not going to be top 6 when he comes back, unless the team is just that beat up.
Landeskog for that team is kind of like it's kind of like the John Tavares for the Leafs setup, right? Like I just feel like those big star studs like the Matthews, McKinnons, McDavids, like when those teams win, you want the best player to hoist the chip, right? Like nothing against Landeskog, he's just he's not even the top 4. Is even like the best 4th player? I don't even think so, right? Like
I would put him over Drouin. That's a low bar though.
Yeah. But you want like the best players to hoist the hoist the trophy, right? Like you don't want anyways, I don't know.
All right, go over to ad drop here, figure out where it starts. I agree with that one.
You want to go? Oh, how far back do you want to go?
Maybe just start with Eulatron. It was like kind of late last night. I drop one.
How do you spell Eulatron?
EULATRON.
EU. Okay. Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Options 3, drop 1. He wants to drop one of Eklund, Peterka, or McCann. I like the scoring on those riffs. Goals are only 2 points. Assists are only 1 point.
Well, the mob seems to be saying Eklund.
I know, which I feel like is shenanigans.
Well, the big one is just that team has been doing so poorly recently, right? Like they started out fantasy-wise, like producing a fair bit. Oh, but Eklund, you're scrolling down to find Eklund too. My goodness.
See, everyone likes McCann, but I don't.
Eklund is so feast or famine, Alan. Oh my god.
This is true. This is true because
Oh,
I did
oh.
hold him and thought I was
Yeah.
just gonna find this diamond in the rough that I'd hold all season, but I did eventually drop him. Someone picked him up though on another hot streak.
Right.
I might leave that one alone. I feel like kind of rest of season, you might, especially for playoffs, you might want to hold Paterka. Everyone
Well-
loves McCann. But I guess he is the guy who's going to score on that Seattle team or one of
Well,
them.
Lord knows I am as rest of season as the next game, Alan, and the next week. So like the way it rolls when I'm looking at the schedule, they all play on Monday next week. So I'd always like the idea of holding a player over the Monday. But both Buffalo and the Sharks play on the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So all the heavy nights on Monday. I don't know. I'd ask basically who he's looking to, because Ulatron, like saying it in a vacuum, you're dropping this guy is different from like I have this targeted dude that I'm going to supplant, like roll into my planning for the upcoming week. Like who's the guy that you're trying to get? In a vacuum, when I'm looking here, I can promise you if you drop McCann, he's probably not coming back. So I don't think I would drop McCann. However, on the flip side, for Paterka and Eklund, like they have high ceilings and very, very low floors. So they're kind of the same player, just on different, conferences, teams, all that jazz. And even further for Eklund, I would say, like, does he do enough in his ceilings where his like floors are kind of canceled out, you know what I mean, in like a week of production? Like let's say he has a massive blowout game and then he does nothing the next game. Like, does it matter if over the week you're going to count all that production together? I would say no, personally. But again, it really depends too. Like, I mean, I'm just going to dig up Paterka on the other side of it, right? Like Paterka, I always feel like ends up having like crazy high outsized percentage, like scoring percentages.
Yeah, so I think maybe as far as consistency, Eklund is probably the drop.
Oh God.
I think we agree with that one.
God.
But yeah, let me shiver me timbers here. What's your thoughts going forward? These goalies, his main two, UPL and Lankinen. Picked up Talbot about a week ago. Yes, yeah, ride that Detroit hot streak.
I lied, Alan. I had to vote for Paterka. That man's.
Sorry. Just wondering the Red Wings hot run. Should I hold him? I think we were talking about that might be like a 50-50 split if you have Lyon and Talbot healthy, because both of those guys are injury prone. Yeah, I don't know. Vancouver's because he's wondering what's happening with Demko and Lincoln, and yeah, Vancouver's just. I'm wondering if these trade rumors or whatever is going on off the ice with JT Miller is just dragging that whole team down. And then maybe once we get some resolution, whether it's through a trade or no trade, we'll know what's going on with Vancouver for the rest of the season.
Vancouver is literally on the bubble, right? Like I think it's them and Calgary for the last spot, basically, right? So someone else put it as an idea, and I think it's like worthwhile to consider. If the playoffs started tomorrow, who are you putting in the crease, Alan?
I feel like it's Demko.
I feel like it should be Demko, but
unless his health is iffy.
Yeah. But the fact that that's even a question that could be posed is insane. So, I mean, like Turnberry, just to go to your question, right? Like, so with their hot run, you're thinking of holding him, but is it going to be 50-50 or less? Like, I can't see them having it. Like, I can't see them running with just one goalie. They need both guys to be hot, and they need both guys to be fresh. And both guys coming off injury, like you can't run their groins into the ground that way. Yeah, if Lyon was dropped to waivers, would you get him to run tandem?
Nope. That is something that TJ has put out there. I kind of agree with. I think holding a tandem is not great strategy because again, you're always benching one of them. You're not getting, I'd rather have Skater that's guaranteed all of the games as opposed to taking up 2 roster spots to get the same result.
I'm even trying to think of any tandem. The only tandem thing I could have envisioned that actually really worked out in a previous
Toronto.
fantasy season. Toronto this season for sure, but the previous fantasy season was when Boston still had
Ullmark and Swayman. Yeah, because that was, man, even then that's kind of hard to justify. But no, I totally agree.
That was the only tandem I could see where you holding that one and you'd still get screwed on the 2 game weeks, but geez, like Boston just won so many games that year, right? So I think that would be
although there we go. That's like case in point on holding a tandem is if that tandem has a 2 game week, you're missing out on a potentially a 3rd or 4th start.
Because you're essentially guaranteed on any starter 2 starts at least in a week, right? So you're basically giving up half the starts for what purpose? And if there's no purpose, then I don't know. You're also going to have to then burn an additional player roster slot for another streamable goalie to factor that in. So yeah, for sure.
Although I mean, this other 2 are UPL and Lankinen, and Lankinen is not guaranteed. I still think maybe because wasn't Demko off for a game or 2 recently?
Yeah,
and then they had to kind of
back in.
I don't know if they actually recalled Shelobs, but I think Demko was not in shape to be the starter, but backed up for a couple games for Lankinen. This is Lankinen's first season with like this kind of workload. I wonder if it's getting into him, and that's maybe part of what we're seeing in Vancouver. But yeah, I would hold UPL. Buffalo's got a decent playoff schedule. Lankinen, that's going to be a timeshare, I feel like, for the rest of the season to help load manage Demko. But
I think Turner-Bree, the real question is, it's a hot run, but unless they pull like a Nashville Predators from last season or Oilers from last season, like it's going to be just that, right? It's going to be a run. It's not going to be a hot rest of season. I can't imagine.
Like, we'll see how that new coach bump works out for them. I know it seems like Boston's already kind of that honeymoon period is wearing off. Sorry, my eye. But Detroit, I don't know. They could still be in the middle of that honeymoon period, or this could be something that goes rest of season, especially if Detroit, they make some kind of trade to get better.
Well, I mean, someone else said it, and I agree. Like, the East is really not very strong, right? Like,
it's gonna be crazy.
Leafs are at the top of the standings right now, but then somebody else said, like, Montreal could be competing for the division if they just had a better start. And I was like, that is a weird statement. I guess that could be true for any team, but no, it's absolutely true. Like, any team in the Atlantic, maybe not Buffalo, but if any team has an extended run, they could feasibly top the division. So are you really betting in that? Would you swap out Lank for Talbot or Holt?
I don't know. This Vancouver slump could be temporary. Like I said, it could be solved whenever they decide to trade whoever. But that team has proven last year that if everyone rows, they're a team to be contended with out west.
I mean, they have so many overtime losses that, like, overtime losses is just so coin flippy. And you think if half of them, right, if just half of them were wins, then, geez, yeah, the record is insane now. Because what, like, are they 3-10 in the overtime? If that's what I'm seeing, 3-10 in the overtime is
yes. Because I thought I saw that they lead the league in like overtime losses or something.
But just looking at that makes you feel like if half of them had just been converted into wins, just like on, like a better rotation, or maybe this is indicative that they're terrible. Like Tocchet can't do 3-on-3. I don't know what it would be, but if it's just an average, they would be so comfortably in a playoff position right now. And swapping out the guy that got them there seems really, really, I don't know. I don't think I would do it. Talbot,
Lincoln's been great to start the season. I don't know if it's fatigue setting in from kind of a semi-starter's workload. But no, like I said, I feel like Vancouver's problems are more than just kind of, is this goalie good or not?
Turnberg, who's your
Because it
I
was
guess it's-
UPL, Lankinen, he picked up Talbot.
UPL Lankin and Talbot. Who else is available on your like lineup? Because last time I remember we had this whole discussion and another manager was like, "Oh yeah, we got Binnington on the wire." And I was like, "Binnington, like like go grab that guaranteed starter." But I guess while we're waiting, do we want to tap?
Yeah,
on
we'll
that
go to the
Market?
next one down here. Sunday stream. Good old 10-team waiver wires.
Oh,
Damn.
it's got to be Laugh, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
I don't like that Dallas matchup against Colorado.
Yeah, Laugh. We're gonna go.
Oh, and of course it's completely split.
Pinto. What's the argument for Pinto? I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
Who does Ottawa? Oh,
Glad to know
Boston.
nobody else believes in Dadonov though. And Norris.
Well, he's playing top line right now, so for me,
Ah,
it would have been Dadonov if Hintz is healthy.
Gotcha. McAvoy worth
Um,
a stash? McAvoy worth a stash? What?
Ooh. I don't know what his injury is though, but whatever it is, it seems like he's been fighting it for a while.
But yeah, there's no. Wait, isn't it more concerning that the guy dropped for Hagee and McAvoy?
For Hagee, I understand. Like he's just been really underachieving compared to last season.
Yeah.
Well, last season was also his contract year. Surprise. McAvoy were the stash. I kind of think so, depending on who your other
For sure.
defensemen are.
Well,
12
there's
team
no-
head-to-head Cats. Drop
no risk
Letang
either.
for Seth Jones.
Yeah. Drop Letang for Seth Jones.
I say hell no.
I say yes, do it. But
So here's my, I mean, for the other categories, Jones is great, I feel like. But if Seth Jones, who is now in a lot of trade rumors all of a sudden, does get moved, it probably won't be to a team where he'll be power play 1, so you'll lose those points.
imagine it's to Pittsburgh.
Right. And they're still like screwing like with the defenseman on that power play because now you got Carlson, Letang, Jones, Grizzlick has been seeing time on
Crazy.
top power play.
Letang is day to day, so it says it's what he's under the
Oh my
weather
God.
rather than hurt. Okay, under
All right.
the weather rather than hurt.
Streaming goalies. So if both Washington goalies are there, give me Logan Thompson over the Detroit tandem.
Yeah. Wait, both what? Allen, maybe if there is one this year, it would be the Lindgren Thompson.
Yeah, it
tandem.
sounds like Lindgren is. I don't know. I still don't know about holding both. I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure off the top of my head like what the workload is, but give me Logan Thompson, man.
Turnerbury, you have to get Logan Thompson. I think it's disgusting if you actually look at the stats. Like he has started 25 games, lost
2 or 3, right?
He's won 20 of them. He has
Yeah.
80% win rate right now.
Yeah, I forget like his points percentage at one point I saw on Reddit recently, but I think it was like at one point it was of the possible 22 points they could have gotten in his starts. He has gotten them 18. It
For
was
context,
something insane. But yeah, give me Logan Thompson.
Logan Thompson has started. It's not even a tandem anymore. He has
No.
started 5 of the last 5 starts, and he is projected to start tonight. So that will be 6 of the last 6.
Yes.
7 of the last 8.
I just saw the tweet. Ingram is back, or not Ingram. Lindgren is backing up tonight, so it's another Logan Thompson start.
Like, I feel like they shouldn't have done this. They're doing this way too early. They should have baked him in probably like end of March or something, and give him some time to run with it, but then also keep him hot that way instead of burning his groins right now. Like they have so many points banked in as elite. They have a 7 point lead and a 2 games played lead on the Devils. I don't know what they're doing this
Yeah, I would say.
so early.
Well, actually, even with Ingram back, it seems like Vejmelka is kind of the starter right now. But yeah, I would say Dobes, Askarov, Ingram are streamers.
Oh, I don't know about Dobus, man. Alan. No. When the memes are actually hilarious, like I just can't believe this guy. Like he has never lost in the league.
I just
That's insane.
don't.
What the heck?
I feel like a lot of people are going to lose their minds, like if he drops off.
I'm gonna friggin' lose my mind. Like,
and it'll be gambler's fallacy. It'll be like, oh my god, like, no, man, this is a fluke. Next one he's gonna win, and who knows? But no, yeah, Logan Thompson. Go get Logan Thompson. Well, now here's the question: do we drop Lankinen to pick up Thompson?
I would absolutely drop Lankinen to get Logan Thompson. Yeah, absolutely. Well, also the other one I would say is that the team ahead of him is just going to do so much that, like, I'm going to dig up his stats right now because I don't know his overall save percentage, but he has a 924. Dude, so he is amazing. He is amazing.
Yeah.
And
so here we go. Like, just like Jay said, it's like, what are some of the other goalies? And it's going to be like that, in plain sight, like, oh my God, yeah, this is an upgrade.
This guy. Yeah.
But yeah, last call, by the way, in the chat. Yeah. Easy peasy.
No 1A starters Washington tandem there. And the man literally has started 7 of the last 8 games, or will start.
Dude, I think a lot of people still have that paradigm last year of that Washington team where it pretty much was like, if Ovi doesn't score, no one does. Like, it's just chasing the record. But I don't know, man, those offseason moves. Maybe Washington was the real offseason champ and not Nashville.
And the insane part is, if you're actually looking at the stats, like, all of them get more and more insane. Logan Thompson has started 25 games. Charlie Lindgren has started 21 games. Logan Thompson has twice the number of wins that Lindgren has, 20 wins to 10 wins. They've started like almost the same number of games. With Logan Thompson's 20 wins and Charlie Lindgren's 10 wins, Logan Thompson still has less goals against after starting more games. This guy is so much better. Lindgren is basically just making it so that Thompson gets even more buffed up stats. That's honestly the main setup here. I will take the goals against and we'll somehow still outscore our problems. And this Logan Thompson dude is just going to suck up and vacuum up all the wins. It's incredible.
Yeah, here we go. In his last 9 games, 8 wins, 7 quality starts. I forget what the criteria is for a quality start.
He is by the way, the one game he has lost in January, Dobus, man.
That's right.
Oh, man. But the memes write themselves. And I mean, at the end of the day, I want to say, just for sure do what Alan was describing and look for the guys that are hiding in plain sight, right? Like, some of these decisions you're putting out, they seem difficult, right?
Wait, there's no way that's his cap hit. There is no way he is only playing for like 800K.
No. Actually?
No wonder why he hasn't like tried to sign any kind of new deal or anything with the Caps. Like, after this season, he's going to get paid, whether it's by the Caps or by another team.
This team is so bizarre, Alan. Like, I don't see.
Dude, they made some really good offseason moves, and for some reason, I guess Spencer Carberry might be the PLD whisperer.
But they remind me very similarly to the 2017, 2018 Vegas Golden Knights, where you look at, well, I mean, obviously there's Ovi, right? But he's old. But it's like you look at that team and it looks like unspectacular, kind of just like third liners that were dropped off from other teams. Like, Alan, who is Frank? Who the heck is Frank? Ethan Frank.
Oh, that guy, the call up that has just he scored
okay.
2 goals out of nowhere.
Okay, like, but Ethan Frank is supplanting Mangiapane, like, you know, on the third line right wing. I was like, okay, who are these guys, Alan? You know what I mean? Like, you look at their lineups,
Right.
and I don't understand how they're
Although
doing
that's
what.
the way it should be. It should be like your third, fourth lines are like, who is this guy?
Right?
Not Colorado with injuries where it's like that second line center is, wait, who is that? But that's going to do it for today. First game starts in half hour. I will say Jersey, Sheldon Keefe said something to the effect of whatever illness that's been sweeping the NHL is hitting the locker room. So maybe keep an eye on like who actually plays for Jersey. Make sure that they're in.
Look out for Amanda's little notepad.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, no, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for your questions, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Yes, indeed. We'll pick you up later.